A Democratic senator, often named as a potential presidential contender in 2020, is taking major heat from Clinton loyalists tonight after declaring that Bill Clinton should have resigned from the presidency following the Lewinsky scandal that triggered his impeachment and other accusations of sexual misconduct. Chief Washington correspondent James Rosen tells us about the latest controversy in the politics of sexual harassment.
Occupant of the New York Senate seat previously held by Hillary Clinton, Democrat Kirsten Gillibrand told the New York Times she now believes President Clinton
indeed I did have a relationship with Ms. Lewinsky
should have resigned amid the sexual misconduct charges that rocked American politics 2 decades ago.
Things have changed today, and I think under those circumstances, there should be a very different reaction.
For good measure, Gillibrand broadened her condemnation to include the Republican incumbent.
And I think in light of this conversation, we should have a very different conversation about President Trump.
Prominent liberals at the Times, The Atlantic, and MSNBC have demanded a reckoning with the Clinton era when progressives and feminists defended the president and in some cases attacked his female accusers, among them Juanita Broaddrick, who claimed Mr. Clinton raped her in a hotel room.
Thank you for welcoming the President of the United States.
The former president had stumped for Gillibrand, prompting Philippe Reines, the acid-tongued former spokesman to Mrs. Clinton, to tweet with reference to the president's acquittal at his impeachment trial. Senate voted to keep President Clinton, but not enough for you, Senator Gillibrand. Over 20 years, you took the Clintons' endorsements, money, and seat. Hypocrite. Interesting strategy for 2020 primaries. Best of luck.
Boy, I think there's just a special place in hell for people like that. She has turned on the man who probably did more with his wife for her than anyone alive.
President Truman is bright and cheery, cane and all.
The historical reputations of presidents can change. Harry Truman left office with dismal approval ratings, but starting with Merle Miller's Plain Speaking in 1972 and culminating with David McCullough's Pulitzer-winning 1992 biography, the 33rd president rose steadily in public estimation. Conversely, disclosures by JFK's mistresses over several decades have somewhat tarnished his legacy. Arthur Herman is the author of a new book about the 28th president, entitled 1917, Lennon, Wilson, and the Birth of the New World Disorder.
I think this is an inflection point for Bill Clinton's legacy, and I think more and more what we're seeing and historians are going to see is that he's someone who diminished that office, and that his legacy will be very different from the one that we had thought when he left office.
Bill Clinton did not respond to our request for comment. Of course, he has long denied that rape allegation. George H.W. Bush also faces new scrutiny this week as several women have now accused him of groping them, including one of them, Brett, who said the incident took place during his presidency.
It's an amazing time. We are hearing more from Hillary Clinton about why she thinks she did not get to the office her husband once held.
Yes, the former Democratic nominee has told the left-wing magazine Mother Jones that Russian interference was, quote, one of the major contributors to the outcome of the 2016 campaign.
I think that there are lots of questions about its legitimacy, and we don't have a method for contesting that in our system.
Mrs. Clinton also cited registration issues and problems at polling stations as a major factor in her loss of Wisconsin, the state no Republican had carried since 1984 and which Mrs. Clinton, Brett, was the first major party nominee to skip campaigning in during a general election since 1972.
More on all this with the panel. James, thank you.